Welcome to Muslim Network TV and Mujahid Talk. Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdul Malik Mujahid, and you're watching Muslim Network TV either on Galaxy 19 satellite, which covers USA, Canada, and Mexico, or perhaps on your iPhone or Android. We're also on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and always on our website 24/7 with the latest news on muslimnetwork.tv. Today, I will be talking with a person who is one of the human beings you feel this world is better with. Um, India is a great country, extraordinary contribution to the world, second largest country, the largest democracy. But that largest democracy is facing a tremendous challenge of fascism. People who are implicated and responsible for killing Gandhi are hiding behind Gandhi when it comes to the world. But inside India, those fascists are in control. And they are doing things in their way, as always fascism and Nazism has done, except the world has no idea about that. And to the level that the prestigious Genocide Watch in Washington, D.C., has issued 2 genocide alerts about India. And when you walk on the aisles of Holocaust Museum, I have to walk with a lot of tissue papers in my pocket because it's very difficult to go through what human beings are capable of doing to other human beings. One of the things they emphasize that Holocaust did not happen in vacuum. There are stages of it. And based on those stages, India is a very serious case. The Holocaust Museum project says that it is at the very high risk of mass killing. So, if in America something happens to you, you call police, 911, and police will come and you will handle the issues. Well, first thing, it is not that easy in India. If you're a minority, a Dalit, or a Christian, or a Muslim, especially, police may not show up. If they show up, they may join the people attacking you. And when people report on that, like Amnesty International, Harshmander, other human rights organizations, their homes are raided. Even Twitter is raided. Journalists are murdered or attacked. So, what is happening with India? But today we will talk about people who are standing up to make India become a better country based on its constitution. We'll be talking about a hero, Judge Loya, who lost his life for India, but we'll be talking to another hero who is a journalist who risked his job and risking his life to tell the story of a honorable hero, Judge Loya. Please join me in listening to Nirananjan Takle. Welcome to Muslim Network
Thank
TV.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar to you.
Namaskar.
Uh, Niranjan Takle is an engineer from the family of freedom fighter for India's independence. And there is a story why he left engineering and became a journalist, but we will come to that. He's an author of a book, Who Killed Judge Loya? I read cover to cover, and I'm devastated, but also thankful that in our world there are people who stand up for truth. And one of the person is with us, Niranjan Takle. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Imam Shah, for inviting me and talking about my story.
The whole story begins with Amit Shah being accused of murder by the government investigation itself. So, what he is accused of, who is Amit Shah, and what is his power in India?
To start with, I would say Amit Shah today is the Union Home Minister of India. He is the second most powerful political leader in India after Narendra Modi and the Prime Minister. And he is the closest associate of and the oldest associate of Narendra Modi in India. Apart from this, Amit Shah was a state home minister in Gujarat when Narendra Modi was chief minister. And this the murder under disguise of fake encounters of Sohrabuddin Sheikh, his wife Kausar B, who is alleged to have been raped and murdered, and the murder of Tulsi Prajapati, who was a friend of uh, Sohrabuddin Sheikh. So these three were killed in fake encounters, and Gujarat government, in fact, investigated this and first time said that these are not fake encounters. These are not encounters. They were murdered. So after that, Rubabuddin Ansari, Sohrabuddin's brother, had complained to the Supreme Court of India, and Supreme Court of India had asked CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, to investigate into the murders. And Supreme Court of India itself was monitoring the entire investigation. It was not the Union Home Ministry; it was the Supreme Court. So this was also a kind of unprecedented thing, that the Supreme Court is monitoring investigation. And under the monitoring of Supreme Court's investigation done by the Central Bureau of Investigation, they found that Amit Shah is the main accused in the triple murder case. And apart from Amit Shah, there were several IPS officers, there were several other people who were charged with murder. And CBI filed a charge sheet. The charge sheet itself was nearly 12,000 page long. Supreme Court of India said that the trial will not happen in Gujarat because it's likely that Amit Shah, being the state home minister of Gujarat, would influence the entire proceedings of the trial. So the case was moved to a neutral place in a state called Maharashtra, and Judge Loya was the second judge. In fact, the Supreme Court had ordered that only one judge will preside over the entire hearing, and he will be the one who will give the judgment of that particular case. But I mean, this basic condition was overruled when the central government and the state government changed, and Judge Loya happened to be the second judge in the triple murder case in which Amit Shah was the main accused.
So Amit Shah is the home minister, second most powerful person in India, is an old ally of Prime
Prime
Minister
Minister.
Modi. And is it correct that he is the in control of the federal police and all the justice mechanisms?
Yes, Amit Shah, I mean, being the Union Home Minister, he is responsible, rather, he controls all the prosecution agencies, whether it is Central Bureau of Investigation or National Investigation Agency, NIA, and the other investigation agencies like Enforcement Directorate or in charge of the judicial process.
So this regime being RSS and BJP sort of, so is he also just like the Prime Minister Modi? Is Amit Shah also member of RSS?
Yes, yes, yes. Amit Shah and Narendra Modi both were workers, volunteers, Swayam Sevaks they call it, of Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, RSS. And after their association with RSS, they switched to the political arm of RSS, which is Bharatiya Janata Party, which is BJP. And that's how they became the leaders of BJP.
And Amit Shah is what is his position in BJP?
BJP, I mean, before becoming the Union Home Minister of India, he was president of the National Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, for two terms. I mean, for 6 years, he was the president of BJP.
Okay, so he's a powerful man in the country, whether it's RSS or BJP or the police system and investigative branches. And he himself was accused and he was in arrested and he was in prison
Yes, yes.
for while he was a home minister of a Gujarat state. He was in prison for 3 months.
Yeah, he was arrested when he was the home minister of Gujarat state.
So that
And
speak that there was a proper system of justice in place, despite him being a powerful man at the early stages of this country. And then in 2014, they came in power, and then all those things started changing. Will that be true to say?
yeah, that's true. I mean, after his arrest, he had to resign, and as the home minister of Gujarat. So and he was in jail for 4 months. After 4 months, he got bail from the Gujarat High Court. But there was a condition on him that Amit Shah was not allowed to enter or stay in Gujarat for more than 2 years. So for 2 years, Amit Shah lived outside, had to live outside Gujarat. He was
Hmm.
externed from Gujarat.
Now tell us your book about
Who killed
who
Judge?
murdered Judge Loya. This particular book, which you have written, what is the basic story? I know it is not fair for an author of such a big book to share, but could you share what is the basic story in this?
See, the basic story is this, that Judge Loya was presiding over this particular triple murder case in which Amit Shah was accused, and Judge Loya had in fact granted the leave petition of Amit Shah, that he can remain absent during the hearing because he was a powerful national political leader, and his schedules were always busy. That used to be the pretext every time he was absent in the court. So his absence was allowed during the trial, but at the same time, Judge Loya had mentioned that he will have to remain present in the court whenever he is in Mumbai, where the Bombay, where the trial was happening. And it so happened that on the 31st of October 2014, uh, the new Maharashtra government was getting formed. The ministry was getting sworn in Maharashtra. The BJP had won elections in Maharashtra, the state of Maharashtra, and the swearing-in ceremony was happening hardly 2 kilometers away from the court. And Amit Shah was absent on that particular day in the court. So the Judge Loya asked Amit Shah's lawyer why the accused is not present in the court, and again the same reasons were given, that he is a big political leader, he is very busy, his schedules are very busy, and all that. So Judge Loya said that, but we had granted his absence only on one condition, that whenever he is in Mumbai, he will have to attend the court. And today he is 2 kilometers away from the court, but he is still not present in the court. So ensure that that Amit Shah remains present in the court for the next court date. And the next court date was given as 15th of December. This was on 31st October. The next trial date was given on 15th of December. And during that period, it so happened that two brother judges of Judge Loya, Judge Modak and Judge Kulkarni, one day approached Judge Loya in his chamber, in his office, and they told him, it was on the 29th of November 2014, and they said that we have booked our tickets to Nagpur because we have to attend the wedding reception and wedding ceremony of one of our colleagues' daughter. So travel with us to Nagpur. And Judge Loya was not prepared actually, but they forced him into joining them, and they took Judge Loya along with them to Nagpur directly from his office. So after attending the wedding ceremony and the wedding reception on the 30th of November, in the night, Judge Loya had actually called his wife for around 43 minutes. But in the morning at 5 o'clock, between 5 to 5:30, his family, his five sisters, his wife, they all received calls in the early morning that Judge Loya uh, died in the night, and his postmortem is also over, and his body has been sent to their birthplace, their ancestors, where their ancestral home is, which is around 500 kilometers away from Bombay, where the first family was staying, and the family was asked to go to that place in Latur district. So, and everybody said that he died of an heart attack. So, because of that, the family had lots of apprehension about his death, and but no media at that point in time covered his death. Later, after almost 1.5 year, I happened to stumble upon the information when I was in Pune, and his Judge Loya's niece uh, met me actually in a hotel, and she told me about the apprehensions and about the doubts that the family had about the death of her maternal uncle, that is Judge Loya. And that's the time when I promised her and myself that I will investigate this particular death, and that's how.
So, so Judge Loya was a highly accomplished judge and was assigned to this. And your book also says that a Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court, Mujahid Shah, offered him some 1 billion Indian rupees worth of bribe to not be hard on Amit Shah or give a favorable decision. So Amit Shah is not accused of that, and that's the family who told you that, and family was told by the judge himself before his murder that this is being offered.
True.
Uh, so 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 is that one of the point which became suspicious since he was not willing to accept the bribe? He somebody has interest to eliminate him.
Yeah, basically, see, Amit Shah, that it was a time in 2014 when in the month of May, BJP had formed government in Delhi, the central government, and in October, BJP had won the state of Maharashtra as well, where this trial was happening, and Amit Shah was the national president of that ruling party. There were other state elections that were to happen. For example, there were elections to happen in Bihar immediately after that in 2015. So Amit Shah had this huge uh, case, a criminal case against him, and he wanted to get acquitted from that case. So the family, in fact, while talking to me, said that the chief justice always used to either intimidate or offer a bribe, uh, Judge Loya, and that's what I have mentioned in the book. I had mentioned in the story when actually the, the the story broke. Uh, so he was offered a bribe of 100 crore rupees, 1 billion Indian rupees, and he refused to accept that bribe. He always said that I will give a decision after I mean, after verifying the entire charge sheet, after verifying all the witnesses, after verifying all the evidence, I will not discharge the accused just like that, because the Supreme Court had monitored the entire investigation, and the Supreme Court, after its monitoring of the entire investigation, had moved the case to Mumbai. So it was, I mean, it was impossible uh, for an upright judge to discharge the main accused without hearing the petition. So that was the point where Judge Loya was, I mean, very firm about, and he said, I will not compromise with my morals and with my values. Values at the most, if at all I am pressurized too much, I will resign and I'll go back to my native place. But he was not ready to compromise. So probably that became the triggering point.
So the Chief Justice Mohit Shah, who offered 1 billion Indian rupees to get a right word, a quote unquote, for Amit Shah, Was there any investigation of Mohit Shah?
No, no, no. In fact, there has been no investigation, neither about the death of Judge Loya, nor about the allegations of offering 100 crore bribe.
So, two judges who persuaded, almost forced him. I mean, the person is at home and it is going for wedding. People don't go on wedding on a short notice, just like,
Yeah,
hey, there is a wedding, let's go. I mean, these are not kids, these are judges.
yeah.
Were they on the same bench? Were they colleagues of him? They knew him? Um, uh, tell us a little how a person is being forced to go a wedding which he himself is not interested.
See, the moreover, of course, Judge Modak and Judge Kulkarni, at that point in time, Judge Kulkarni was the registrar of Bombay High Court. And Judge Modak was a brother judge, although Judge Loya was a CBI special court judge, and Judge Loya was in a metropolitan judge at that point. Uh, but they were known to him in Mumbai, in Bombay. All these judges live in a colony. I mean, there are government quarters, official residences of all these judges in a particular area, and that's where they stay. There are around 12, 13 buildings where all the judges in Mumbai live. So, since they were also kind of neighbors in the same colony, and they were from the same judicial fraternity, they knew each other very well. Their families knew each other very well, and that's the reason why these two judges went to him and told him that you have to accompany us. Judge Loya otherwise was a very meticulous person. He used to plan things in advance, but at that on that day, when he called his wife Sharmila, asking her to send his suitcase to his office. In fact, Sharmila also was surprised that Judge Loya had never talked about traveling to Nagpur. He had never talked about attending this particular wedding ceremony, and she said that you come to house. I mean, let's discuss before you go. But he said that no, there are two colleagues of mine, Modak and Kulkarni, who are in the office, and the train to Nagpur starts at 7:30 or 8 uh, from a station which is very close to the judge's office. So he said, send my bag to my office and I'll accompany them directly from office to Nagpur. So that's how it everything happened. And although the family remained in surprise or shock that how could this meticulous person never talked about attending this wedding ceremony, and during the investigation I also found that almost 4 or 5 days before, a judge from Maharashtra, his name was is Vinay Joshi, he had written to the law and judiciary secretariat, asking them to book a suite in the government guest house in Nagpur and train tickets for Judge Loya and him on those particular days, 30th of November and 1st of December. And Judge Loya had, I mean, no clue that someone else is booking tickets for me, someone else is booking a suite for me in Nagpur, and he had no plans of traveling to Nagpur. So, uh, I mean, that
Now,
was
the
the thing.
two judges literally pushed him to go to Nagpur,
Yes.
and Nagpur being the capital of RSS. And when his body was taken to hospital, or he was still alive taken to the hospital, which is not clear according to your research. At one point, there were 20 judges present there. How come out of 20 judges, there is no one who spoke up or raised any question about it, and it took the family member to request you to look into it? What is this? 20 judges. And they were probably not judges born yesterday. They must be experienced judges among them.
Yeah, yeah. See, Nagpur, I mean, as you said, is the headquarters of RSS. Apart from that, Nagpur is the official second capital of Maharashtra. So, I mean, one of the three sessions of the state assembly happens in Nagpur. And Judge Loya was staying in the same VIP guest house where all government officers, the IAS officers, the IPS officers stay during the winter session of the state assembly every year. So he was staying in the same guest house. Uh, allegedly he complained of a chest pain in the middle of the night, and these two judges, Modak and Kulkarni, who were accompanying him, told the family that they took him to a hospital, Dande Hospital, by auto rickshaw. That was again beyond comprehension, because auto rickshaws are not available in the vicinity of that particular guest house. Being a VIP guest house, there are always red beacon cars available in the guest house. There is always an ambulance deployed in the VVIP guest house, but none of that was available on that particular night. And the two judges said that they took him by auto rickshaw to a hospital. There, a lot of time was spent, basically because it was not a cardiac hospital; it was an orthopedic hospital. So that's how, I mean, in fact, I was surprised when I first heard this, that the two learned judges, we call them learned judges, the two learned judges took a cardiac patient to an orthopedic hospital where he was kept for 1.5 hours. After that, he was taken to a cardiac hospital, where the cardiac hospital says that he passed away 15 minutes before the admission. His time of admission is 6:27 a.m. and his death happened at 6:12 in the morning. And they took him to a cardiac hospital called Mediterranean Hospital. And at Mediterranean Hospital, the police commissioner of that particular city says that there were 20 judges present at, at Mediterranean Hospital. After that, the postmortem happened in the government medical college. And while the postmortem was happening, there were 20 judges outside, and lot of uh, I mean, you can find lots of discrepancies in that. Many mandatory procedures, many mandatory legal procedures were not followed in presence of the judges. uh, but despite that, even after breaking the story, none of these judges came forward and stood for their brother judge. And
That
that's,
they live in the same colony,
yeah,
judges' colony in Bombay, and it took them 2.5 months even to go and offer condolences to the judge who was murdered, which they took, almost pushing him to go to Nagpur without seeing his wife for
yes.
the last time. It turned out to be that. And then when they are saying to the family, they are afraid. What were they afraid of?
That's what they kept on telling the family repeatedly during their meeting. When the two judges went to the family almost 2.5 months after Judge Loya, they lived in the same colony, but they did not dare to meet the family, even to offer their condolences. After 2.5 months, when they went there, his sister was telling me, Judge Loya's sister was telling me that one judge used to stay I mean sit in front of us, and the other judge would always go outside and remain on phone talking to somebody. And whenever they were in front of us, we would ask them that, why didn't you come before that? I mean, during all these 2.5 months, why didn't you accompany Judge Loya to his body to Latur? And they kept on telling the family that we were afraid. Now, what they were afraid of, it's still a mystery, and that is something which only they can divulge. But it remains a mystery that what these two judges were afraid of, just to accompany the the dead body, or even to offer condolences.
We're talking with the Niranjan Takle, who is a investigative reporter from India who has published a book called Who Killed Judge Loya? And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Mujahid Talk at Muslim Network TV. We're talking to an author who has done an investigative report and now a book about the murder of Judge Loya, who was presiding judge on the case of Amit Shah, who is current second most powerful leader in India, that the government accused him of murdering three people before he became a national leader. So Nagpur is the headquarters of RSS. RSS has been implicated in the murder of Gandhi himself. And the hospital they took him, the head of the hospital is a RSS member. And when an unknown person contacts the family and inform them where to come, and all those, who comes out as the coordinator of his whole taking from the hospital to sending his body to his ancestral home instead of their actual home, all of that turns out to be an RSS member. So you don't ask that question, was RSS involved? But their name seems to be all over the place.
Yeah, and in fact, the personal belongings of Judge Loya. I mean, it not only there were individuals who were informing the family in the early hours of the day. That's on the at 5 o'clock, between 5 to 5:30 in the morning. A certain individual was calling the family, informing them about the death of Judge Loya and asking them to travel to Latur, their ancestral place. And again, let me go back a little. These two judges who had accompanied Judge Loya from Mumbai to Nagpur knew very well that Judge Loya's first family lives in Mumbai, in the same colony where they also live. Despite that, they sent Judge Loya's dead body to his ancestral home, 500 kilometers away from Mumbai, in a rural place called Gategaon in Latur. So there was this individual who was coordinating with the family. Then there was another person who suddenly appeared at 6 o'clock in the morning uh, with the family members. Judge Loya's father and Judge Loya's third sister in Latur district, where they were. He was in a hospital with his grandson. And there, suddenly at 6 o'clock in the morning, one person appears and says that I have been coordinating with all the judges in Nagpur since night, and you don't have to travel to Nagpur. I have arranged for the body to be transported to Latur. So instead of traveling to Nagpur, you come with me to my house. And he took them to his house till the night, and then took him to their ancestral village. This individual, after 3 or 4 days of the funeral, he hands over all the personal belongings of Judge Loya to the family. For example, his wallet, then his two mobile phones, his watch, and these personal belongings were handed over to the family by this person in who lived in Latur, who also family said that he was a member of RSS. And in any medico legal case, it is the police which actually uh, takes possession of all such personal belongings, makes a list of it, seals all those personal belongings, and then hands it over to the family. Here, suddenly an unknown person calling himself to be the friend of Judge Loya and a member of RSS hands over all his personal belongings. Moreover, his both his cell phones are, they are as fresh as a new phone. All the data, all the call records, all the messages, even the contact list in his phone number, everything is deleted, and a new, and those two phones get handed over to the family. And in fact, that is when the family started suspecting many things. And because Judge Loya's sister had found his spectacles uh, under his neck when the body was received, and that's when she was actually suspicious. But again, the same friend had shouted everybody down, saying that, look what has happened to him, and don't endanger your children. So that at that point in time, the family didn't understand the gravity and the proportion of that sentence, that statement. But later they realized what that statement meant, that look what has happened to the judge and don't endanger your children.
So, when you started pursuing this story, a government intelligence officer actually warned you you're stepping into a very dangerous area. So it looks like the government regular agencies were not quite involved in that. Otherwise, he would not have warned. And it was the state agency which framed that Amit Shah is accused of murdering those three people. So it seems that there is a parallel system going. There is a regular government bodies and investigative branches, and there is some other mysterious operation. So is there uh, will it be right to say in the Judge Loya case, there seems to be two different machineries in operation? Did you get this feeling?
No, no, no. See, actually, it was the state police uh, who had investigated this, and first time said that I mean the encounters of Sorabuddin, his wife Kausarbi, and Tulsi Prajapati are fake, and these are not encounters; these are murders. This was told by the Gujarat government, Gujarat police officer, to the Supreme Court. After that, the Central Investigation Agency (CBI) had investigated the entire thing, and the CBI had filed a charge sheet against Amit Shah, saying that Amit Shah is the main accused in that triple murder case. So until 2014, all these investigative agencies, the prosecution agencies, were actually working impartially, and because their investigations were also monitored by the Supreme Court at till 2014. After 2014, when the government changed, when the political dispensation in power changed from Congress to BJP, probably this downfall began. And as I said, I mean, I have written in the book also that when I first happened to visit Judge Loya's father in his ancestral home in their village in Latur, within 5 minutes of I reaching his house, uh, his father received a call from the local police station in the village, and the local police officer was asking Judge Loya's father that who has come to meet you, and who are those individuals uh, who are there in your house. So after 2014, even the state police was monitoring all the movements of Judge Loya's family. And of course, the central investigation agencies were also directly under the influence of BJP or Amit Shah. So the intelligence officer who I would say had cautioned me that I mean stay alert because he in fact said that you have been talking to the people who are under surveillance. So now you are also under surveillance. So probably all the members of Judge Loya's family were kept under surveillance, and probably their phones were also under surveillance. And since I was talking to them, I was trying to meet them, I was trying to convince them to meet me. Probably I also came under the surveillance.
So share with us. I mean, you wrote the article, and of course, we'll come to this story why the people, your your company, which were supporting and funding your investigation, refused to publish your article. We'll come to that. But once it was finally published by another magazine, um, and you were on different media and things like that, the Supreme Court took the case. But extraordinary after extraordinary situation, that four Supreme Court justices did a press conference, which they have never done in the history of the country, that if we want to save democracy, we have to get this case right. Do you think Supreme Court finally got the case right?
No, no, definitely not. I mean, it was on the 12th of January 2018 when these four senior most judges of the Supreme Court came out and they held a press conference. And in fact, Justice Chalmeshwar said that we won't be able to, I mean, we won't be able to face our grandchildren because 20 years from now, they will question us that what were you doing when the democracy in India was started to get finished. And so this is the point. When then a journalist asked them that was it Judge Loya's case that triggered them to hold this press conference, and Justice Gogoi, who later became the Chief Justice of India, said that yes, Judge Loya's case triggered them to hold a press conference. After that, what happened, everybody knows because, and in fact, the judges had said that there is a lot of bureaucratic interference which is happening in the administration of Supreme Court. The roster of the master, and master of the roster is the term that they used. The master of the roster is allotting the most important and constitutional cases to the junior most judges in the Supreme Court. And so apart from that, there were many complaints that these four justices said, and they said that since nothing is happening in the Supreme Court, we have come to the they used the word janta ki adalat. They said we have come to the court of the people. And and that's where we want to present this what is happening actually in the Supreme Court of India. So that's how it happened. Then on the next Monday, the four judges were called by the then Chief Justice Deepak Mishra for a meeting, and after that nothing happened. Because, and I always say this, that these four judges came to our court, the People's Court, complaining about what is happening wrong in the proceedings of the Supreme Court. And when they, after they had a meeting, they never came back to us telling how they were satisfied. I mean, they complained to the court of People's Court in India, that something is wrong in the Supreme Court of India. But then they never came to the People's Court telling people in India what satisfied them. तो आई मीन वी से दिस इन हिंदी दैट हमें हमें समस्या बताई, लेकिन समाधान कैसे हुआ ये हमें बताया ही नहीं. तो after the meeting with the Chief Justice, nothing happened. Then the Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, himself formed a bench and took up the hearing of the public interest litigations filed in Judge Loya's case. After that, Justice Gogoi became the Chief Justice of India, and he gave a verdict on Babri Mosque demolition. And within few hours of his retirement as Chief Justice of India, he became a member of Parliament, nominated by BJP in the Rajya Sabha. So there is a chronology, and I mean, we happen to be the sad and unfortunate witnesses of this downfall.
So there is no police investigation in Maharashtra. There is no police investigation by Gujarat, where the original, there are altogether 6 murders here.
Yeah.
And a high-profile judge, a case in which the second in command of India today is accused by Federal Investigative Agency. Isn't CBI something like FBI in America?
Yes, it is.
So they accused Amit Shah of murder. And then, after those three murdered, three other murders take place. The judge, but
Yes.
before that, a reporter. And then there is a third person who said he has a video shot by some people who are involved actually in murdering him.
Mhm.
So, three murders later, but no government, Delhi government, Maharashtra government, Gujarat government, or the federal government or the Supreme Court has never done an investigation. Is that true?
It is true. There has
Except
been,
your investigation.
yeah, yeah, there has been no investigation, the official investigation.
What is wrong with you when nobody seems to care? You write in your book, even if it cost me my life, you are determined to do that. Why?
See, I mean, actually, that's a long story. But as you mentioned in the introduction, that I am an engineer. So after, I mean, while I was working as an engineer, I was disturbed by a extremely disturbed, deeply disturbed by a personal uh, thing, and I was reading a book, and in that book I came across a sentence which actually shook me, and that sentence said, "To tell the truth and shame the devil is the responsibility of any journalist." And that sentence actually shook me from inside, and that is the subtitle of my book also, "To tell the truth and shame the devil." And I always felt this. I was brought up in an extremely democratic, liberal, and secular atmosphere. My upbringing was, I mean, extremely secular, extremely democratic and liberal. I had friends from all religions, all castes, and everybody used to come to my house. I used to go to everybody's house. But after the demolition of Babri Mosque, my closest friend, Nadeem Sheikh. I mean, I used to be either at his house or he used to be at my house. We were so close, and he and his entire family had started distancing, and I didn't know what had happened wrong because I was not in Nasik. That is my hometown. I used to live in Pune, and in '94, in fact, I came to Nasik and I started my own business. But he had, I mean, he was there was some wall between us, and I didn't know what was that. And one day when I insisted too much, he said that today we have apprehensions about many people whom we considered as our family relatives or family friends. And I asked him why, and he said after 1992, after the demolition, uh, I mean, many masks got torn. That was the sentence that he said. Many masks got torn. And I felt very sad that probably he and his family experienced something wrong, something extremely wrong from the people that they considered very close to them. And I came back and I actually was talking to my mother, and she said that if that trust has reduced, then it is you who has to earn that trust. The trust cannot is not just given. Trust is not offered on platter. Some everybody has to earn it. And if that trust has got reduced because of someone else, then it is you who has to earn it. So that was the point when I decided that I will join journalism, because I thought that it was the media propaganda which culminated into uh, the bigotry and the religious divide, and the demolition of the mosque as well. Uh, and if media propaganda is so powerful, and it divides people, I will become a part of media. I will join journalism, and I'll try to correct things that are going wrong.
But then, when you went to correct things and you started writing investigative reports, Your lower leadership of the Week magazine was coming along and were funding and all that, but then they refused to publish your story.
Yeah, they refused to publish that story. I think there are two reasons. First is that just before Judge Loya's story, I had done a very long investigation on Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, on Savarkar, which many people in India call him as Veer Savarkar. So I had done an investigation on him because, uh, I mean, a member of BJP demanded that Savarkar should be conferred with the highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. And that was the point when I thought that let us revisit history and let us find out whether he deserves a Bharat Ratna. And during that entire investigation, which itself was around a 42-page long story, I happened to get my hands on many archival documents, his mercy petitions. He was the first proponent of Hindutva. In fact, he was the first one who coined this word called Hindutva. This was never used in the past. He coined this particular word, Hindutva. And he mentioned, in fact, in that book titled Hindutva, that Hindutva has nothing to do with Hinduism. Hindutva is a political doctrine, and Hinduism is a way of life. So, and how he, in fact, introduced this bigotry in his original ideology, then how he became the ideologue of RSS as well. And then this RSS, at that point in time, Savarkar's political party, Hindu Mahasabha, was the parent organization, and RSS, which was formed in 1925, became a militant wing of the political party. Now it is vice versa. Now RSS is the parent party, and BJP has become the political wing of that parent organization. So I wrote that article based on the documents that I got, his mercy petitions, his agreement with the British Viceroy Linlithgow, in which he said that to fulfill the common objectives of the British Empire and Hindu Mahasabha, Savarkar will spend his rest of the life in opposing Gandhi, Muslims, and Congress. Uh, then there are many documents based on which I did a story, and there was a huge backlash, and this happened in January 2016. There was a huge backlash on the magazine because people who believed in Savarkar, who thought that Savarkar is the real ideologue, got exposed, and those people, his followers, were in power. So there was a huge backlash on social media, on everywhere. I mean, even his great grandson tried to sue me. Uh, they filed a case against me and the Week magazine. So that probably scared the Week magazine as an organization. Another thing, during the investigation of Judge Loya, they never thought, the magazine actually never thought, while allowing me to conduct the investigation, that I will be successful in actually getting my hands on all those crucial evidences. For example, the postmortem report, the histopathology report, the forensic recommendation report, the forensic report. And they never thought that the family would talk to me, and I succeeded in convincing the family to talk to me on camera. So it's not that I simply took notes after interviewing them. All the interviews are recorded on camera, and the interviews themselves are over 5 hours long. So so they never
Now,
thought that I would get that evidence.
so, but
Another
the overall media, you're mentioning in your book that this used to be left to center paper. It became center left, then center, and now it's right to the center. So it seems there is more to the backlash. So are you saying the street power and the secretive power of RSS combined with the political power of BJP and the government is forcing media towards silence?
100%. I mean, BJP, I always believe this, and BJP is using the coercive power of that home ministry to intimidate media, to scare media, and even to, I mean, influence the media coverage. And that's the reason that the entire mainstream media seems to have surrendered, completely surrendered to the dispensation in power. And they are serving the power instead of questioning the power.
Well, it seems your story, which you have written, has a full making of a film. I mean, just like the Indian movies, it has many climax. I mean, it starts with a murder. The second most powerful person in India is accused by the government, Indian type of FBI, of three murders. And the reporter who publishes the news about the murder of the judge investigating get murdered. And then there is a last murder. A person who agreed to meet with you, who publicly says that he has the video, which he has placed in seven different places, in which people who murdered him show how they murdered him for their own cover or whatever is the reason. And you are waiting in Delhi to meet the person, and person never comes, only to find he is murdered. Let's end this show on the mention of what was that last murder about.
It's about, it is about murder of Advocate Surendra Borkar, and I have written about him also. And he, I always actually thought that, I mean, he used to write me often on Twitter, in fact, that he has the evidence and all that, and he never actually specifically talked about a particular kind of evidence. But I thought that probably he's boasting or he's bragging too much. Then I contacted him. Then we used to talk quite often, in fact, and we decided to meet on the 29th of July, and not in Delhi, in Mumbai. So we decided to meet on 29th, 30th of July, and I was in Mumbai on 29th of July, because after doing this story, I had lost my job, and in fact, since then, since November 2017, I am unemployed, and the powers have ensured that I remain unemployed. They ensured that I don't get a publisher to publish my book. So they did many things. So I was in Mumbai, and on 30th of July morning we were supposed to meet, and I kept on calling him in the morning. I even texted to him that when are we going to meet? Where are we going to meet? And he said, I mean, I didn't receive any reply. And after a few days, I think after 2 weeks, I received a call from that number, and there was a lady who was speaking, and she said that she is Advocate Surendra Borkar's wife, and she asked me whether we met on 30th of July, and I said no. I kept on calling him. I kept on texting him for the location and time to meet, but he never answered. And she said, "Oh, okay, that's what I thought, because he passed away on the same day." And I was shocked, and I said, "When did this happen? I mean, how did he die?" And she said, "He died in the court." I mean, she said that his body has been handed over to me, and the people who handed it over to me said that he had a heart attack inside the courtroom, at and he died at 12 o'clock, 12:02 in the day. And I have also received a postmortem, and his postmortem timing is 12:10. And for anybody who lives in Mumbai, he and if he knows where the court is and where the JJ hospital where the postmortem took place, I mean, even during the day, on any working day, it takes at least 40 minutes for the fastest possible vehicle to reach the hospital. And here, the report is saying that he died at 12:02, and his postmortem was conducted at 12:10, in 8 minutes. And but she's a very innocent lady. She was not from Mumbai. She was living in some other state, and but I could gather the gravity of it. And then I tried to find about it. And when I actually saw the report, I got convinced that he too has got killed. And unfortunately, a day before, he had tweeted, and I had an argument with him. He had tweeted that he has a video evidence of Judge Loya's murder and how he was killed. So he has tweeted about it, and I actually argued with him that why did you do that? You didn't have to tell the world. And he said that now probably I am the safest person, because if anything happens to me, people will know how why I died. And in few hours, he was dead.
Aren't you, Niranjan, afraid of yourself?
Ah, very frankly speaking, no. Personally, I'm not afraid. I have passed that line. I have gone ahead, and in fact, I have done so many stories where I could have got killed. I have lived in Gujarat undercover as Rafiq Qureshi, a cattle trader and a butcher for 6 months to expose this entire cow vigilante Gauraksha thing. And I exposed the entire business module that runs under the disguise of cow vigilante. And it's a huge extortion network. Again, nobody ran that story. I had a number of videos, and I released all of that in the Constitution Club of India in Delhi, where the Constitution of India was written. And in that club, I released this story, but not a single media in India carried that story. Otherwise, it would have exposed the entire cow vigilante business model, which runs, and they say that fear is our investment. It's like Mario Puzo's Godfather.
Well, reading your book, I saw the power of your daughter convincing your wife to let you be yourself. How is your daughter doing?
Yeah, she is good. She is doing good. In fact, I still remember, and I feel myself blessed that the investigative story broke on 20th of November 2017, and I have described how my wife had got scared on that day, and she was crying all the day, and we couldn't meet our daughter in Mumbai on that particular day. At 11:30 in the night, she sent me a message on my phone, and she said that it was my 50th birthday, and she said that there are 2 days which are most important in any person's life. First, when he is born. Second is when he realizes why he is born. And in your case, both the days happen to be on the same date. Happy birthday, Baba. So that's what she wrote to me, and I actually had tears in my eyes that I am genuinely blessed. I'm genuinely blessed that she has been so supportive and so strong. I mean,
Well, thank you so much, Niranjan Takle, for your time, for your courage,
thanks a lot.
and for you standing up for justice, and for you standing up for India. India is worth saving, and people who are working on it, history will remember what will happen to the world, what will happen to India. We don't know the future, but people will remember who stood up to save India. Thank you so much.
Should I say one thing? I always believe in what Gandhiji said. And Gandhiji said that hatred has an expiry date. Love, brotherhood, fraternity, truth, non-violence are the values which are timeless. And hatred has an expiry date. So hatred is bound to die. And once again, these timeless values will find a way to live.
Well, thank you so much for watching. That was an extraordinary interview for me. Reading the book was not easy. Putting it down, my mind kept working on it. And people like Niranjan Takle do amazing job. World is better because of people who stand up for truth and justice. Thank you for watching Muslim Network TV. We are on Amazon Fire, Roku, Apple TV, on in your own pocket, on Android or iPhone, or always on muslimnetwork.tv. Peace. Salam.